I've launched over 5 businesses in my time on this rock we call planet Earth. From an AI face filter app to a crypto startup incubator, I've jumped all over the place. Today, I want to tell you a story about the first business that I ever started called Argo.
You ugly as fuck.
Now, let me take you back. It's summer of 2019, I've just finished college and I decided to take a gap year to pursue this brilliant idea. Little did I know, I was about to fail miserably. You see, back then, big brands like Nike, Zara and H&M were getting scrutinized by the public because of their unsustainable and unethical practices during the production of their products. That's where Argo comes in. An eco-friendly, sustainable clothing brand made from 100% ethically sourced materials like cotton. We even went as far as to use vegetable inks to print our designs instead of the normal plastisol ink that most companies use to stay true to our path of sustainability. Over the next year, I began to develop the brand and eventually I was ready to launch our first drop. This is when I made my first big mistake. The order fulfillment process. You see, when a business provides a service or a product, from the moment a customer pays, there is a series of actions that take place until the order is fulfilled and the client is essentially happy. This process can be the success or demise of your business, as usually each step in the fulfillment process will either take time or money to complete. So if your company has a real efficient fulfillment process, that means you have a high profit margin. Unfortunately for me, I had given this absolutely zero thought. So when the first order came in, I didn't even know what the next step was. The next day, I drove out to buy some packaging supplies and some custom branded tape, but I still hadn't figured out shipping. Luckily, the first orders that came through were just friends and family, so I ended up driving to their houses and dropping it off, which leads to my next problem: scalability. Because of how hands-on the order fulfillment process was, the ability for me to sell 50, 100, 1000 products became more of a nightmare than a goal. I had just spent 1 year building up this product and brand, and when it came to execution, it was done with little to no planning. And looking back on it, I definitely didn't need a whole year to launch this idea. I think a pretty common problem people face when starting their first business is they get trigger shy. They scare themselves into launching by trying to make every single thing perfect, and a lot of the time, you'll just give up before you even start. I can't stress enough how important shrinking that gap between idea and launch is, because at the end of the day, you can only refine a product or service so much without testing it. I spent that year taking photos and creating content for the page. So it didn't all go to waste. Developing the vegetable inks formula took longer than expected, and after the launch, many of our customers end up complaining about how the print already looked faded after just one wash. Like, that's unacceptable. The ethical sourcing of the materials and innovation with the inks made our product an above average price point, so a single wash fade is a complete fail of a product in my eyes. And yeah, eventually things just fizzled out. After launching with the hands-on order fulfillment and limited interest from the first drop, I honestly lost motivation, and ultimately I stopped going out on photo shoots and eventually ran out of content to post. But I need to make something clear. Even though Argo was a complete fail of a business and I did ultimately lose money on it, the amount of experience I gained and lessons I learned, I wouldn't have learnt that doing a 4-year business degree. And I know this because I'm doing a business degree. So to make this video really worthwhile for you, I want to give you 5 practical takeaways from my personal experience that'll help you in your future business life. 1. Execution over perfection. You don't need a whole year to launch. The longer you wait, the more likely you are to overthink, delay, or even give up. Launch fast, test, and iterate. When I spent a whole year preparing for Argo, when it actually came down to launch, I realized I could have done it in about 3 months. And I would have learned more from actually selling than over planning. So to really hit this home, I want you to set a hard launch date. Give yourself a strict deadline and launch no matter what. To start with the whole product, start with an MVP, a minimum viable product. Instead of perfecting 20 products, launch with 3 and improve as you go. Use a pre-launch test, create a simple landing page or Instagram account and start marketing before everything is perfect. I'd rather it be done than perfect. A functional product in the market beats a flawless idea sitting in your head. 2. The order fulfillment can make or break you. Selling the product is only half the battle. If you can't efficiently deliver it to your customers, your business will collapse under its own weight. Plan your logistics before you start selling. When my first orders came in, I had no idea what to do next. I literally drove around hand delivering them because I hadn't figured out shipping. So, to make sure that you avoid the mistake I made, I want you to choose a fulfillment model early. Decide if you'll do shipping yourself, use print on demand, or outsource fulfillment like drop shipping. Set up systems before you sell. Order your packaging materials, shipping labels, and inventory storage before launching. Test your fulfillment process. Do a trial run by shipping test packages to yourself or friends. Know your costs. Factor in shipping fees, taxes, and packaging expenses into your pricing. 3. Scalability should be baked in from day one. If your business can't handle 10x the orders without breaking down, it's not built to last. Think beyond just getting your first sale. How do you handle 100, 1,000? I was struggling just to fulfill a few orders myself, and the thought of scaling to 100 orders felt like an actual nightmare. So what I want you to do is I want you to automate where possible. Use tools like Shopify, Printful, or Amazon FBA to handle scaling issues. Find suppliers that scale. Don't rely on one small manufacturer. Have backup suppliers who can handle bigger orders. And use pre-orders. If scaling is an issue, use pre-orders to validate demand before committing to large inventory. Batch work and outsource. If making handmade products, batch your work or hire help before you need it. 4. Real-world feedback over endless product development. No matter how much research you do, the real test is how actual customers react. The sooner you put your product in their hands, the sooner you will find and fix flaws. After I launched Argo, customers would complain about our vegetable ink prints fading after just one wash, something I would have realized sooner if I had tested the product more. So for you guys to avoid this, I want you to launch a beta version. Release a test version to a small audience, friends, early customers, a Discord group, and collect feedback early. Use Google Forms, Instagram polls, or surveys to hear what customers actually want. Prioritize fixes based on users instead of guessing. Fix the issues people complain about most. Make iteration a habit. Assume your first version will be flawed and plan for constant improvements. 5. Failure is an accelerated business degree. Losing money sucks, but the knowledge you gain from starting and failing is worth way more than any textbook or lecture. Experience is the best teacher. I lost money on Argo, but I probably learned more in 1 year than I have in my entire business degree. To really take this home, I want you to analyze what went wrong. Was it pricing, marketing, logistics? Identify the issue and learn from it. Then when it comes to your next business, apply what you learned. Use failure as real-world education for your next venture. And you also need to stay in the game. Most successful entrepreneurs fail multiple times before finding success. Network with other entrepreneurs, share your experiences, and learn from others' failures too. By applying these takeaways, you'll avoid common beginner mistakes and set yourself up for a smoother, more successful business journey. The key is to take action fast. Plan ahead and be willing to learn from failure. Thanks for watching. If you're looking to start a business but don't know what to do, check this video out for a super easy beginner friendly business model on how I made my first $1,000 online selling AI generated images. Without further ado, peace.